Hey, what's up, guys? Riley Chase here with Hostify, and I have a lot of conversations with people, particularly on Twitter, who have this idea that they need to have a co-founder for their startup or a team of co-founders. They need to have a bunch of co-founders, and I think it's kind of almost like a glorified thing where a bunch of guys get together and they co-found a business. And I have a pretty strong opinion that nobody should ever have a co-founder. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think that, and I think it's interesting that the main reason that I'm going to talk about why you should have a co-founder isn't even talked about on Google. So I Googled before this, should I have a co-founder, to kind of do a little bit of research for this. And I read the first 10 results here. And a lot of these articles were talking about how beneficial it is, how to find your co-founder, how to make sure your personalities line up, and how to make sure you have complementary skills, and what to look for in a co-founder. And I thought it was really interesting that nobody was talking about the number one reason why you should never have a co-founder, in my opinion, and that is money. So first of all, to answer the question, should you have a co-founder? No. Why? Money. And so let's talk about money. Each co-founder that you add to your team, you are raising the bar for success, where your business needs to then be twice as big for each co-founder that you bring on in order to achieve the same personal result for yourself. So at the start, it seems like a good deal to give away 50% of your business, which is worth $0, in exchange for someone else to do half the work. In theory, it seems like a pretty good idea. But by doing that, you've now doubled the amount of money that you need to go full time on the business. If you raise money and you are burning through the money until you get to profitability, now you're burning through that money twice as fast. And this last one is the most important one that I'm going to talk about the most here is by bringing on a co-founder and you're splitting 50-50 equity, now you have to double the amount of money and the amount of success your business has to have before you can personally achieve your financial goals, like financial independence via exit or drawing money out of the business. And so this is an important goal for me in my business. I want to make enough money that I never have to worry about money again. And so what that means for me is I need to accumulate approximately $3 to $4 million in cash after taxes, and to invest that into a diversified investment portfolio with which I can safely draw about 3 to 4% per year without ever touching the principal. And so then at that point, I'd be able to take home approximately $100,000 to $150,000 per year and never have to worry about money again. And in order to get to that $3 or $4 million mark, I need to build a business to approximately $1 million per year in revenue and sell it for four, or just keep building the business and withdrawing large amounts of money out of the business. But no matter how you look at it, if I had a co-founder who owned 50% of the business, I would have to make twice as big of a business. So instead of building a $1 million business, I got to build a $2 million business, or instead of a $2 million business, I need to build a $4 million business. And so you can see with each co-founder, you're making it a bigger, higher and higher bar for success. And so I think that's just a wealth destroyer, in my opinion. That's why I would never have a co-founder. Yeah. Anyways, I just found it really surprising that going through the front page of Google all these results, that I didn't see anyone talking about the money side of things. But when I was looking at some of these articles, one of the best arguments I saw for having a co-founder is a complementary skill set. So let's say you have one person like myself, actually, who's technical, and maybe they're a developer. They know the technical side really well, and then they pair up with another person who is a sales background, extroverted, great at making relationships, knows how to build a brand, marketing, social media. Is a great writer, blog posts, does all that stuff. So you put these two people together, one builds the product, one sells it, and that's a great complementary team. And so that's kind of like one of the big arguments for finding the right co-founder. So in my opinion, and this goes back to the other slide, you shouldn't do that because it's a waste of money. So early on, it sounds like a really great idea to give away 50% of your business, which is worth nothing, in exchange for someone else to do 50% of the work, in theory. But let's say, let's just imagine, of course, you can't actually know this, but let's just say you knew that business was going to be worth $10 million someday. Would you give away half in exchange for half the work, or would you just hire someone which would be a lot cheaper because you can find an amazing person that doesn't cost $5 million, and it can help you with the weak spots that the areas you're weak in. So if you're the developer like me, you can find someone who can teach you about marketing and sales and branding, and they can go out and find you customers. And it'd be a lot cheaper to just pay them whatever they cost, because I'm sure they wouldn't cost $5 million. And so that's kind of my argument with that. And when you're just starting out, you don't want to go out and hire a bunch of experts, because you don't have the money for that, and that's a big risk that potentially you're not going to have a $10 million business in the end, and you're just going to lose a bunch of money. So that what I think you should do is strengthen your weaknesses. So for me, like I said, technical side, I didn't know anything about social media marketing, branding. I didn't have a lot of relationships or stuff. Yeah, I wasn't connected in a bunch of communities or anything like that. So I went and just learned how to do that stuff, and it wasn't that hard to get a basic understanding of how to do these things. And so yeah, I just kind of did it on my own, and now I have enough money where I can hire people who are experts at doing things that I don't like to do or I'm not good at, and eventually you'll get there too. So if you just start off and strengthen your weaknesses, and just get good enough to get enough revenue so that you can then hire someone to do the stuff you're not good at, that's the best way to do it. And when you're hiring people, don't give them equity. It's pretty simple. You just pay them what they expect to be paid, and they don't have any questions about that. So that's my opinion on whether you should have a co-founder or not. And like I said, it's just my opinions from my own experience. I don't have any experience, with a co-founder. There's a lot of great stories out there. If people that had great co-founder experiences, but I'll never have a co-founder, and that's the reason why is money. And maybe I'm short-sighted on this, so let me know what you think. I don't think there's any right answer, but if you have a co-founder, you better damn well be sure that you're going to build a big business, and it's going to make up for the fact that you're splitting, the money you're making.